Okay, guys. Injury report today. Guys that will not participate: Rob Havenstein with his calf, Matthew with his right thumb, and Ernest with his knee. And then Laryl Murchison, Kobe Durant, Puka Nakua, Austin Trammell, Ben Skoranek, and Ethan Evans will all be limited.
Monday said 24 to 48 hours to know more after the swelling maybe would subside. What's the status on that right now, and kind of what's the process?
Yeah, we're just taking it a day at a time. So he's really trying to take care of, all of those types of things, and we'll continue to monitor it, and he'll be day to day. So, obviously he won't participate today, and, we'll have contingency plans for, for both situations that could potentially arise.
So you haven't yet ruled him out for Sunday?
No, I have not.
If he didn't practice all 3 days, would that rule him out, or is it if he's not ready by Friday kind of thing?
No, it's one of those deals that you give him up until right before the game. You use all the time necessary for a player like him.
Because of his obvious reps and experience?
100%, absolutely.
That was also a lot of guys that aren't practicing or limited. How much does that affect being prepared this week?
I would say this, there's a handful of guys that are limited. Some of that is rep modification. Some of it can be a little bit semantical. So it does, challenge you a little bit. But once you get to this part in the season, you've got to be creative with how you navigate through Wednesdays in general. And so this is kind of no different. And, we'll do a great job of adjusting and adapting accordingly.
What was the thinking bringing Dresser in back?
Just his familiarity and some of the things that he had done earlier with us a couple months back.
Did you guys explore bringing John Wolford back?
Yes.
And can you just give us some insight on how that unfolded?
Well, he ended up signing with Tampa. He's been there. They ended up putting him on their active roster. And so that's usually kind of what occurs when a player is already at another place.
Did you explore trading for a quarterback?
No.
Sean, how has Brett been preparing for the possibility of potentially being up Sunday? What have you learned about him overall and then through this process specifically?
He's done a great job just in general, Jordan. I think really he's one of those guys that you can see he's a pro's pro. He's always preparing himself as if he understands that there's one situation or he's one snap away from having to go into the game, and that came to fruition on on last Sunday. And so he does a really good job. And I think whether he was preparing to start or whether he was preparing to be the backup, I think his consistent approach is something that's a good thing for him. I don't really see much change. I see a guy that came in, handled the walkthrough excellent, just like he's kind of done from the jump, and been really pleased with Brett.
Sean, how does his practice workload change this week?
Well, today, because Matthew's not going, he ends up taking the reps with the starters. Dresser will end up giving the looks for the scout team. And so that's really the biggest change is, with Matthew being out, Matthew will basically serve as an extension of the coaching staff. Those two have a great rapport and relationship. And so he'll end up taking, the team reps that would typically be allocated to Matthew.
We'd ask Les this, but we're not talking to him, I guess, today. So
Wait till you talk to him then.
I don't know what that's going to be. But in terms of the division, the Seahawks traded for Leonard Williams, the 49ers got Chase Young, Arizona made a move. You guys just stood pat, really didn't do anything. How does that affect, you guys going forward in terms of?
Not in the least bit. I feel really good about a lot of the things that are going on. It always is about, okay, if there's an interest, and then, is there somebody that we're interested in, or vice versa. So, it takes two parties to be involved in things like that. But, the nature of some of the situations with us in general that you're familiar with, limited in terms of, all right, going out and actually, bringing people in. And feel good about this. I feel good about, a lot of the things that I think we're capable of doing. Obviously, we're not pleased with where we're at through 8 games, but I can see through, and I see a lot of light in regards to some of the things that, you're not just saying it's a false hope. You can see tangible evidence on the film that's reflective of, I know we can be better in some of these areas. And I know I've said that to you guys before, but that's where, you feel really excited about it. This opportunity this week, get the bye, and then you come back for the last 8 games and see what we can do with it, where there's a lot of football left to be played.
Did
Yeah, that's stuff that I am, right during this time of year, because my focus and concentration is on the Packers. You have to wait to talk to Les about that one.
The salary cap realities that you kind of referenced there made the impact of this year's draft class really important. How do you feel about them?
I've been really pleased with them. I think there's a lot of guys that are doing an excellent job contributing. Handful of them are starters that are playing, a lot of the reps, and I think they've continued to mature throughout these first 8 games. Been really pleased with those guys. So it's been a real positive, and I think we found some guys that can be kind of cornerstones or guys that are going to continue to be building blocks for years to come. And I'm sure you kind of know who those guys are that I'm talking about.
Couple more, Jess. With Matthew's injury last year, that was significant, and this year, which seems less so. The backup position has been something that you guys have taken a look at, and with drafting Stetson in the 4th round specifically to take on that role. In that entire process, we talked to the scouts and everything right after he was drafted, and in that entire process, what have you guys learned about maybe that process overall, and especially as you're dealing with the situation with him now?
In regards to
The things that, I don't want to say that could be missed, but the situations that could come up that are unexpected.
Yeah, I mean, I think you want to learn from everything. This is, these are situations where, there's some limited resources in regards to, okay, how do you onboard outside of those avenues, whether it be the draft, and fortunately, a guy like Brett Rippon was available for us to be able to bring in-house. So I think you want to use every opportunity as a learning experience. And some situations create a little bit more urgency based on unforeseen things that could come down the pipe. But I think what you're always trying to do is say, okay, have a plan, but more importantly, plan for the unexpected. I remember, Terry Hepner used to say that, my head coach at Miami, and that's something that, you have a plan, you work the plan, but you got to plan for the unexpected. And sometimes these situations arise, and, there's no excuses, but, we got to do a better job.
Sean, you said the 21-day window for Hunter Long last week. Where is he at as far as possibly being activated?
He's doing good. I think, we'll see how this week goes, and we'll see as the game plan comes together what that really looks like, and we'll go from there. But been pleased with what he did last week, and it's good to be able to have him back out there.
Is there a chance that you guys put Matthew on IR?
No.
Last one, Jess.
Given Matthew so much experience and superior arm talent, when you're now going to go with Brett, who has experience and knows your system, does it handcuff you at all in terms of not being able to access those talents, as a play caller?
Yeah, I don't think that's fair to say to Brett, that you would do that. But that Matthew is a unique player that can do so many, special things. It's why he's got the resume throughout the course of his career. It's why he is who he is. And so to say that you can operate exactly the same way, I think that'd be a little silly. But, we do have confidence in Brett to be able to operate our offense and, the normal downs and the pass downs. And, that's been reflected from what he's done with us. And so we're putting we'll see exactly how this week unfolds. But I think you do have to have a plan for either or. Okay? Thanks, guys.